Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Awaken to Happiness Now global series. Thank you so much for being here with us today. And today, my dear friend Corrinne Jenner is back with us, and we're going to be talking about the twin flame journey. We're going to talk, not just the twin flame journey, but, soulmates and karmic relationship, etc., all of that kind of stuff. And so if you are new to me, new to my show, new to my channel on YouTube, please do subscribe so that you can take advantage of all the current shows, all the previous shows, and all the shows coming up. It is my deepest wish, desire, and intention to bring to you these wonderful speakers who are sharing their wisdom, their teachings, their experiences, their processes, their healings, their activations, their readings, etc., so that we can all thrive in our lives. And so some of what we're going to talk about today with Corrinne, like I said, is the twin flame journey. But also, like, what is a twin flame journey? How do you know if you're in one or a twin flame relationship? How to discover the deeper soul meanings behind your relationships, how to live in harmony with your twin flame, and bring that reunion closer. So, it's a lot about the twin flame for sure, but it's about all sorts of relationships, right? So we're going to talk about the difference between karmic, soulmate, and twin flame relationships. And Corrinne is also going to be taking some live caller questions, doing some mini readings as well, to assist you and give you clarity perhaps on your relationship that you may be having. So we'll talk to Corrinne about that in a little bit. And for those of you who don't know Corrinne, she was with us last season for sure. And we had a wonderful time, wonderful conversation, wonderful question and answer, etc. And it was just a delight to have her. So I asked her to come back. She is a holistic and intuitive energy alchemist with a passion for transformational healing by getting to the soul truth at the core of the issue. And her background is in working physically with the body, which she started straight from school at the age of 16. And through her years of experience, she soon discovered that her hands had their own intelligence in knowing where the trauma was being energetically held within each individual's physicality. And so not being able to follow any routine or protocol as it felt completely incorrect, her inner knowing guided her as she knew she had to bespoke each treatment to the individual and follow their own unique map. And so, of course, that takes a person on a whole new journey, intuitively, energetically. And so that's why we are now talking today about the twin flame relationship and the twin flame journey. You can, of course, read more about Corrinne on the special offer page or, in the email that you would have received. So please join me in welcoming Corrinne back to the show. Corrinne, welcome.
Nice to be here. Nice to be here again, Shefali. Thank you.
Awesome. So I'm excited about our conversation today. So like I said, it's not just, about the twin flame journey. It's about all of our relationships, really, like the karmic, soulmate, and the twin flame. And, a lot of these titles are very interesting. And some people may not know exactly what a twin flame is, what a soulmate is, what a karmic relationship is. So, I think it would be good to start off our conversation with just getting a little bit more clarity on some of these titles and what they mean, and how do we know what relationship we're in?
Yeah, well, I'll start with the soulmate one then. This is the easy one where everything just flows, where they get you, they make you feel safe, and yeah, it's just it's just a soulmate. So basically it's really comfortable. There's no triggering, there's none of this arguing, and well, I'm not saying you don't argue, but it's just a real flowing relationship. It's that kind of relationship that people say, oh, they've been married for absolutely years and they're still in love with each other, and that's the soulmate one, the one that we all want.
Yeah, absolutely.
The karmic relationship is usually when you've had a past life with them and there's some karma that you need to learn in this lifetime. For instance, they might have been quite disempowering in your past life and you let them disempower you. And so that's why you meet again in this lifetime, because you need to overcome that karma. So you'll meet again. So it again could be a very difficult relationship where they disempower you, but you have to have the strength to walk away. That that's the karmic relationship. So again, there's always an intense connection to start with. There's like a magnetic connection because you have known each other before. It's the chemistry, that this energetic chemistry that you meet, you know, when you meet someone where you're just like, oh my God, the way he makes me feel, is usually because there's some karma behind it, or, you know, they say love at first sight, but it's actually trauma bond at first sight or something like that, because there's something in meeting them that you need to heal. And this is the deeper meaning and the bigger meaning of all relationships. It always works as a mirror, that there's something that they're going to mirror within you or within each other that you need to heal. This is what all relationships about. So the karmic ones are the quite volatile ones, lots of chemistry, lots of intense emotions, roller coaster feelings. But usually when you leave a karmic relationship is because, like I say, you've been empowered or you've overcome the karma and it's come to an end and there's no going back.
Mm-hmm. And the twin flame?
Sorry, and the twin flame is when you think it's karmic and you think you've overcome it, but you do keep going back. So the difference with the twin flame one is that there's always love. So no matter where there's separation, there's always still love between you, and it's not done. It's never done. You think it is, but it never is, and you just end up going back and going back, because the twin flame really is you're part of the same soul. So it's part of the same soul that's split in two, and you come together because your soul calls it in, that it's time to heal all of the, you know, all of the things within you, all of those triggers, any insecurities, any jealousy, just whatever issues which are not in alignment with your true soul self or with pure love, any things, inherited habits from your programming, from your upbringing, or from past heartbreaks, is what you need to heal. And that's what's really brought up with you in the twin flame relationship, and that's why you keep going back. But it doesn't always mean that you're meant to be together forever. Both twins have to be committed to doing the inner work, to doing the growth, to really want to grow and to heal. Otherwise it's always going to be a mismatch. It's always going to be intense. It's always going to be this push and this pull. So yeah.
It's so interesting as I'm thinking, you know, as I'm hearing all this about the different types of relationships, and I'm looking back at my life and some of my relationships, I can definitely see some karmic ones for sure, right? My current relationship, you know, I always thought was a soulmate relationship for sure, not necessarily a twin flame, you know, so it's just interesting to see the differences between the three. And are we meant to meet our twin flame in like in every lifetime, or like in this lifetime, or how does that work?
I don't think everyone does. Not everyone will meet their twin flame. I think it's when you're really ready. They say it's one of the biggest spiritual kind of awakenings that you can encounter when you meet your twin flame. It really does bring up every single trigger and everything within you which isn't in alignment with unconditional love. Like other karmic relationships might bring it up, or might just kind of teeter around the edges a bit, but the twin flame one will really, because it's like you can't live with them, you can't live without them, so either way it's painful.
Okay, so yeah, definitely have not had the twin flame relationship in this lifetime for sure. And so, you know, when I believe that all relationships that we are in, especially like close ones, there is a deeper meaning behind a relationship, a deeper soul meaning behind a relationship. It's not always necessarily about learning lessons, right?
No, it's it's for whatever you need. It's there's a profound deeper meaning to a relationship, isn't it? It's when you have that, you can feel warm with someone and given and just feel safe with them and connected to them. So it's not all about the lessons, but they do bring it up because of the intimacy, like the very word, isn't it? Into me, I see. They do bring up your, the deep stuff. Just does, not always in the honeymoon period, but when you're together with someone for a long time, it usually starts to trigger those things that you need to heal within yourself. Because it's like the pillars of intimacy. I always think it always, you get to a certain point and then it's like stuff will come up and it's like, can you be vulnerable enough with each other? Can you be open enough to sort of surpass that to go to the next kind of level? And there's always going to be different, you know, moving forward in the relationship, isn't there? There's always, and it's the ones that can really work together that will keep going on. It's never smooth sailing, really. Not 100% of the time relationships, are they?
Yeah, no, that's for sure. But the thing is, like, you know, if you do want a relationship to continue, then of course both parties have to be fully invested and invested in doing the work of the relationship, and also you know, a person's own personal inner growth as well. I think, anyways, I think the two go hand in hand.
Yeah.
Right. And when one party is doing all the work and the other party's not, well, obviously the relationship is going to just wither away. It's not gonna be strong enough to continue.
No, because someone will get resentment in the end. Someone will feel more resentful. I always say the biggest part of a relationship is that you don't self-abandon. That's the biggest lesson. Each person in the relationship needs to be really true to themselves and be able to speak that truth and be really open. So it's when people go, oh yeah, but they're a good person and they don't mean it and they do all of this and, you know, they're really good and they do, then they work hard. That's when the relationship starts getting rocky, because you're not really, you start to change. You're not fully who the person fell in love with, and they're not fully who you fell in love with. So each person has to be really true to themselves, and it's about each person being so whole and complete on their own, and that's what they bring to the relationship. So it's about when
I
both people.
love that. I'm so glad you mentioned that, because it is so important. You know that famous quote from Jerry Maguire, "You complete me." It's like, which I think is like ridiculous. Like, no other person is going to complete you. Maybe your twin flame. I don't know how, because like I'm still not sure how that works, right? But no other person is going to completely, you are complete within yourself. And you know, that is so, so important, that we need to be able to recognize that within ourselves, that we are complete. We shouldn't be in a relationship because we need something from that person, or we need that person. We should want to be in a relationship with somebody because we enjoy their company and we just want to do things together and be together. Right?
Exactly. And in the twin flame, what you were saying, in the twin flame is even more so. That is the big meaning, because you're the part of the same soul. The bigger meaning of the twin flame relationship is never look to the other person. It's what's missing in you. You have to find yourself. So it's amplified even bigger. But that is the big message of relationships, that you have to just be really, really true to yourself and know who you are and know your worth. And this is where you get these testing things in relationships, like you'll come together, like someone that's maybe really selfish will always get together with someone that's very selfless. So you need to both learn. So the selfish one needs to be less selfless and vice versa. So it's like they'll always come together to bring these qualities out in each other as such.
Makes sense. Totally makes sense. There's lots of questions in the chat, and I am going to get to them, I promise, because they're wonderful, great questions. I just want to make sure that we have a fuller, better understanding of the twin flame journey. So let's talk a little bit about the twin flame journey. Like, well, what's the meaning behind the twin flame journey? And you know, is it always to awaken you spiritually? And is the twin flame, like, do you call in? Does your soul call in the twin flame?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe when it's the meeting is always fated. So there's something kind of fated around it. And the bigger meaning is not just spiritual awakening, but it's to come in alignment with unconditional love. So if you've got any, like, lots of traits from your ego or coming from fear, like jealousy, insecurities, all of these kind of things, which is fear-based, it's about really letting go and coming into alignment with unconditional love. So I talk about the 8 stages of the twin flame relationship.
Okay, yeah, please. I didn't know there were 8 stages, but yes, so yeah.
Yes. So they say there's 8 stages. So the first is, even before you meet them, there's like this yearning that you're ready to meet the person that you're meant to be with. You're ready to have that fulfilling relationship. You know, all your relationships in the past have even been, you like them more than they like you, or they like you more than, you know, it's been sort of unequal. So you're really ready. So there's like a yearning, and then it would be some kind of synchronicity or some kind of fated meeting that's meant to happen. And the meeting is just, you know, you fall quick and hard. That's kind of, so you know that you know, it happens really, really quick, and it goes from like 0 to 100 really, really quickly. And then there's the honeymoon period where everything's just amazing, and you've both never felt the same way about each other for, you know, it's just that crazy, you know, crazy in love kind of relationship. And you go through the challenges after the honeymoon phase, then because you really trigger each other, so that's when it becomes really challenging, because all the insecurities, your deepest wounds and insecurities really come up, and you trigger that within each other, so it becomes really challenging. Then there's a test, so something will happen in your relationship to really test you, to just test how strong it is, whatever that might be. Then you go into like the chase part of the relationship, where there's just this push and there's a pull. So one would be chasing, the other would be running, and that will go on for a while. And then often there'd be like a breakup because of this push and this pull, because it's so kind of challenging. And you'll break up and then get back together and break up. So there'd be a lot of that. And then there'd be the surrender after that. Then it would just be like, okay, I'm not going to fear whatever. I'm just going to let go and open my heart and let this person in. And so then there's the surrender. And then when both parties fully surrender and are in alignment with that wholeness within them and unconditional love, then it can be the reunion.
Okay, beautiful. Sometimes I think, okay, maybe I am in twin flame journey, but no, I don't think I am. I think it's still a soulmate relationship, etc. But no, that's good to know, because then we can see what stage, for those of us who may feel like we are in a twin flame journey, that we can see what stage we're in, and it might give us a bit more clarity, right?
Yeah, yeah. And I don't think you really know until you've been in it quite a long time. And when there's been a million makeups and breakups, you're kind of like, what the hell is this? Why can't I let this person go? Why can't I live with or without this person?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we all go through that sometimes. I just want to answer some of the questions that are in the chat, because they have to do specifically with, you know, the twin flame journey and the twin flame relationship. But so Gail was asking if all those relationships are contractual, like the soulmate, the karmic, and the twin flame. Are they not all contractual relationships?
Yeah, your soul would have made an agreement
Yeah,
to fulfill this. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. That's what I felt. And someone, Seema's asking, I believe I don't have a twin flame, have only met karmics. Does everyone have a twin flame?
No, apparently not everyone has them. It's not in every single lifetime. So it's when you're ready.
Yeah.
When you're really ready. It's like when you've kind of done all the relationship kind of bits and pieces, and you're just like, the twin flame is kind of like, it just blow it all away, if you know what I mean. Like saying you might have teetered around different healing, but it's kind of like it's the catalyst.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the next question. Suzanne is asking, what about twin flame catalysts? And can a twin flame really run once activated?
Yeah, if they're not ready to face their fears and really do the inner work, then they'll keep running because they're scared. They're scared of the feeling of it. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. And so what is a twin flame catalyst?
Which is like the catalyst to bring you back to your, so the whole meaning of the twin flame is to bring you back to your true soul self, like basically the you before the world got its hand on you, you know, before you were heartbroken, before you were programmed, before you had fears and jealousy. So your real true, it's the catalyst of getting you back to that completeness.
Yeah, okay. But twin flames can be family also, right? Not just couples?
No, I don't think so. I think as far as I know, it is just a couple. It's the other half of your soul. So,
I think other people can be soulmates, and you know, obviously karmic relationships, but I think twin flames are just couples as well. Yeah, that's what I also thought.
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Yeah, great questions. And because this is such an interesting topic, right? And so with a twin flame, obviously there's a masculine and feminine. So what is the role of the divine masculine and the divine feminine within this journey?
So the divine masculine, and this can be as well, it can be both the male and the female. So the divine masculine counterpart, I'll call it, within the relationship is the one that is more in their masculine. So it could always be the female. So when I say masculine, it doesn't always, it's not always referring to the man. So the basically the role within the twin flame for the divine masculine is to let down the guard, let down the protection, open their heart, you know, drop the sword, drop the fears, and just be vulnerable. Be really, you know, let themselves be vulnerable. That's what this whole journey is for the divine masculine. For the divine feminine, and again, this can be the male, it's about the divine feminine really finding her strength and her worth and her value and really stepping into her power. That's what the journey.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay,
once
cool.
there's this push and pull into the male, the masculine will really open his heart and be vulnerable and let her in. And there's the push and pull into the feminine can actually be like, no, I know my worth. And if you can't see it, I'm walking away. Then she'll walk away, and then the divine masculine runs after. So there's this kind of chase all the time.
And so, here's a personal question. So I've already said I'm not in a twin flame relationship. Mine is definitely soulmate. So are you in a twin flame relationship, or like, you know, have you had clients that are in twin flame journeys?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I've spoken to a couple of people, but I know that I am, just because I've had that push pull, and I'm back with. I've actually had a 6-month separation recently, but during that 6 months, I never really forgot about him or moved on. And he said, you know, the same. And it was like there's kind of like some psychic kind of connection between you as well. Like I would know when he was thinking of me, which was a lot of the time, and there's just something there that's yeah. And it's always, that's how you know as well when it's a twin flame. It's like the love is always there, even when you've not seen when you've not seen them. So there's just something that brings you back together. So
Yeah, interesting. And so that, you know, when you're separated, I guess you are also going through a major healing at that time, right?
yeah. So the separation part is really crucial. You might think that, you know, nothing's really happening, but that's when a lot of the big healing is going on. And definitely that's when things have really shifted for me.
Yeah, makes sense, totally. I mean, and that's the thing, you know, if we're willing to do the work, right? So we all have challenging experiences and etc. But during that time, are you willing to do the work to heal what's been coming up, right?
Yeah.
You know, without going into blame and victimhood and all that stuff. But doing your own inner work to see and heal what is there. Yeah, I agree. All right, so now I know you were talking about so I forgot to mention at the beginning, sorry folks, like you know, I sometimes do that. But we are going to be taking live caller questions. And so these questions are, I think Corrinne, you had said that you're going to be doing like mini readings to clarify for people what kind of journey they're on. Is that right?
Yeah, or even if they're not on a twin flame, or if they've just got relationship stuff that they keep being triggered by, or a pattern that they keep falling into, just to help, I can help them to see what it is they need to switch within them, you know, what it's trying to teach them basically, or what the lesson is.
Yeah, awesome. So if you do have a question, if you would like to work with Corrinne, raise your hand so that you can work one-on-one with her. And so I'm always, you know, interested in, you know, what kinds of questions come through. But just really quickly, just to go back to the karmic, soulmate, and twin flame journeys, you know, all of these are something that our soul decided beforehand, right? So contractually, we decided we were going to have these relationships because there's something we want to learn or something we want to experience. And so in one lifetime, you can have more than one soulmate. You can have more than one, obviously, karmic relationship, but only one twin flame, right?
Yeah, because it's part of the same soul. Your soul does split.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And so So for the soulmate and the karmic relationships, you know, we may have several, right? Because we, you know,
Exactly.
we're just allowing stuff to come up to heal so that we can, you know, grow, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. So, you know, I think I've had it, you know, at least one soulmate, and I think the rest were karmic. Because, yeah, that's what I think. So sometimes it's hard to even understand the difference between karmic and soulmate relationships because they're so similar, no?
Yeah, apart from the soulmate should be a lot easier. I think the soulmate should see you more and get you more. It's about, yeah, about you just really being you again, be able to be yourself, and it should flow a lot more, where the karmic one's more about you really stepping up and not, you know, not settling, not being spoken to in a way that you know is not right. Because sometimes in relationships we do that, don't we? We kind of can go, oh well, they didn't really mean it, or I can't bother to argue, it's not worth causing an argument, or all of these kind of things. There's
Yeah,
a saying actually I like within relationships, and it says that basically it's about a boat, saying that if you don't speak up because you don't want to rock the boat, but if you don't rock the boat rots. So quite often it's that unsaid stuff
yeah,
that just builds up
absolutely.
and builds up and builds up, and in the end it's like, well, we don't even know what to talk about or what's, and that's what happens to a lot of marriages and relationships, isn't it? They just, that's happened to
Yeah,
me before. So it's really important to speak up. That's why I said it's like the honoring your own feelings. And if you get that uncomfortable feeling when someone's saying something, you have to speak up and get that out of the way, or it just becomes this energetic block that just comes between you.
for
It's really
sure.
important.
Yeah. And you know, I found that a lot with my ex-husband. It's like I wouldn't say stuff, you know, I was trying to be the good wife, right? The good mother, the good girl, the good whatever, everything. And but in the end, there was a lot of resentment, you know, because I was holding so much inside. And then finally, when it was time to end, I mean, it was really delayed because I kept on saying, oh, I'm gonna keep the marriage going for the sake of the kids, you know, that was for so long, right? But you know, that's not always healthy either, right? Just staying together for the kids. No,
No, because if it's meant to be, then just by speaking your truth and speaking out, it will still be. You can't lose what's really meant for you.
yeah, yeah,
Because if they
for sure.
respect you, they'll listen and change. But if they don't even know you've got a problem with it,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And it's not fair. Like if you don't speak up and they have no idea, no clue, you know, it's really not fair. I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so let's take some questions. So we have Sulis has had her hand raised for so long. Go ahead, Sulis.
Hi.
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 Yeah, thank you. Um, I was married. I think I had karmic relationship with my ex-husband. It was pretty hard, and the separation and divorce were also dramatic, challenging, very challenging. And I'm glad it's over. Now I'm in a relationship, and I have the feeling that this one is a twin flame one.
Okay.
And yeah. So how?
What makes you think that it is twin
Yeah,
flame?
that the phases that you explain, like
Okay. Yeah.
honeymoon phase, and then triggering phase, and then um, that I am also awakening in this relationship during this one, and so all the descriptions match, most of
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, but we have not decided to get married again, and so because he is also divorced. And so how, so what can I ask
What's the
now?
question? Yeah, what's the question?
Yeah.
So what's
If he is indeed my twin flame, and if we can enhance each other, you know, energetically, spiritually, you know, because I really fond of, you know, deep relationship, not like, you know,
Yeah. So
that only
I would
looks
say
good on the outside.
yeah, which is important. But I would say don't get too caught up in, just because it's a twin flame, don't get caught up in, oh, he's the one that you're meant to be with, because it doesn't always mean that. That's where people can maybe put up with things that they shouldn't, because you think he's your twin flame. So the whole message of the twin flame for you is for you to be true and whole within yourself. So it's not about him. It's not about him, it's about you. What do you need to do to be a better person? What do you need to do to be more loving for yourself? And as you're more loving for yourself and whole, the more loving you'll be towards him. If he still gets triggered, is unkind to you, you don't accept it. That's the message. Does that
I
make
think
sense?
I'm the one. Sorry, I'm the one who gets triggered all the time.
Okay, so this is about you then coming from love, not fear, because all triggers are coming from fear.
Yeah.
Are they jealousy triggers?
Sorry?
Are they jealousy or insecurity? What's the
No,
triggers?
it's I think it's more all about insecurity, and because my marriage was quite traumatic, and I just sometimes, you know, subconsciously,
But you haven't
I'm
healed
just,
fully.
you know, I react quite a lot. I think because of the fear I have.
So you haven't healed properly from that. So you're bringing it in. That's why it's coming up in this relationship, because you need to fully heal that and always come from love. So that's nothing to do with your twin flame. This is work that you need to do for yourself. Then it will come in harmony. So you need to really heal all of that past stuff, and about your worth, if you're feeling insecure, about just how worthy you are of this man, not the opposite way around. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
To
Okay.
really look at you and why you don't feel enough, or why you feel insecure, and do some some therapy and some inner work in whatever way you can work with me, specialize in this, or anyone, whatever you need to do. But it's about doing that inner work.
Yeah.
That's how you will get that union with your twin flame, by looking at yourself and healing.
Yeah.
And your twin
Thank
flame
you
will
so
do the
much.
same. Look at them, they look at themselves, and then when you're ready, you'll come together fully.
Yeah.
Makes
But there's
sense,
no rush.
Sulis?
Yes, makes sense. He's the one who is very convinced that I am the one for him, but I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah,
I
there's still some
just
healing to do for sure. Yeah.
yeah.
And that's
Yeah.
okay, right? So yeah, just continue to heal the past relationship, and that'll make it easier for this current relationship.
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah.
I have to.
So definitely, if
Yeah,
you want
thank
to
you
work
so much for the
with Corrinne, you can.
insights and advice. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, when I met my current husband and got together with him, a lot of the old stuff from the previous relationships came up, and I had to heal all that on the spot, because it was just, old stuff was coming up, and I had to heal all that just so that I could be more fully at ease in the current relationship. Right.
Yeah.
So he wasn't doing anything, but my own stuff was coming up, so I knew I had to heal it. So I had to do a lot of healing the first couple of years, first a year or two for sure. I did a lot of the inner work for myself, just so that I could be more fully complete within myself to have this relationship go, smoothly.
Exactly.
Cindy, you want to unmute?
And that's what relationships will always do.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's so important for
Hi.
us to do the inner work. Hi, Cindy.
Hello. Thank you so much for taking my call. So glad to be here today. I have a question. So I have been in a marriage for 27 years. And I often wonder, because we've become so disconnected over the past between 5 and 10 years, am I with my soulmate or is this a twin flame? We've just gone through so many ups and downs. And I feel like at times I'm teetering at the edge. Like I think maybe the soul contract is over, but we just choose to stay in our marriage just for the sake of keeping family together. And I guess my question is, how do you know if you're with the right person or when the contract has ended, if you're meant to move on?
If you're happy, that's the main thing. If you feel happy, so it's about really that gut feeling, you know inside. And sometimes, like you say, we pretend that's not there. We lie to ourselves a little bit because we want to stay and we don't want to. It's hard, isn't it? It's hard to make a breakup or a move, but it's about being really honest with yourself. Really, really honest. Are you really happy? And it's about you again and self-honoring your feelings and being true to yourself and not doing that self-abandonment I talked about. When we self-abandon our feelings for someone else or something else, like keeping it together for the family and everything, is where the damage starts to happen and where the cracks in relationships start, because you're not being true to yourself. By being true to yourself, even if it's speaking up and saying you're not happy, if it's right, it will always work out. And that's what you have to trust.
How do I know if I'm with my soulmate or if this is just some kind of karmic contract?
Well, if you've been together 27 years, then it's been a long time, hasn't it? But can you answer the question, like, deep within? Are you really happy at the moment?
Not as happy as I would like to be, because it seems like I don't really get reciprocation from my other half. He doesn't put much effort into making the marriage a happy one. It seems like I have to be the one to initiate.
Yeah, so this
anything.
is where you need to speak up. This is where you need to speak up and tell him this. So this is what you need from him, but not in a the way you communicate it's really important. So not in a you make me feel like this, but more in a positive. I'd so love it if you would do this, and when we do these things together, it really makes me happy. It's just about you. I'm feeling from talking to you, this is about you really honoring your voice and speaking up.
Okay. So I guess just back to my question, am I with my soulmate or twin flame, or what would you?
It's hard to say at this. It's hard to, that's the question that you need to answer. But in any of those relationships, you need to be true to yourself. So if you're not fully happy, and if it's not really flowing, then I'd say it probably isn't a soulmate relationship. It may well be a karmic one where you need to speak up for yourself. I'd say out of all of those, it's probably more karmic, because 27 years is a long time to be together. But
there would have to be something there to stay together that long, that's for sure.
No, not necessarily, Cindy. I'm going to say no to that, because sometimes we stay together for the wrong reasons. I stayed together with my ex-husband for a long, 18 years, and I wanted out from within the first couple. So I stayed together for the kids and society and family and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean I was happy all those years, right? I definitely was not. So it is about, I think what Corrinne had said earlier about soulmate is it's easy, it flows, you're happy in it. Of course, we have issues, from time to time, but generally, we're happy. But if we're not, that's when you have to look at it. It's like, okay, I'm not happy. And just because it is a soulmate relationship. If you're not happy at some point, then it can sometimes mean the end of that relationship. It doesn't, just because you're in a soulmate relationship does not mean till death do you part kind of thing. It's not forever. And, you know, things do change and transform, especially when one of us is doing a lot of inner work and the other person is not doing anything. Then that relationship cannot sustain itself, if that makes sense. But I'm
That
not
makes
telling you what to do.
complete sense. No, that does make sense. Makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you both
I'm
so
not
much.
telling you what to do, Cindy. I'm just, you know, trying to point out some other pieces, that's all.
Yes, and thank you for that. I appreciate it.
'Cause if
Thank
you're
you
not gro-
both so much. That does answer my question very well.
If you're
I
not growing
appreciate it.
together, Cindy, you're growing apart, aren't you? That's what happens. So you need to grow, you know, together. Or sometimes
Yeah.
it is that karmic that you've maybe outgrown and you want something else. But it just start by just the communication. Really start communicating how you feel, because like we discussed earlier, unless you do that, he doesn't know.
Oh, I do often tell him, but it just seems like he's not interested in making it grow. So that's where I fall back. It's mainly me, the one that wants to
So this is where
make
you need
things
to
better.
be true to yourself. Then maybe the relationship isn't right for you.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate the feedback and your opinion. Thank you.
Cindy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
And the thing is, you know, when it comes to change, it's scary. It is scary to make that decision. Like when I had to, you know, end my marriage, it was hard because, you know, nobody was on my side. Everybody said, oh, he's a great guy. He doesn't smoke. He doesn't drink. He doesn't beat you. Those were the main criteria, right? I'm like, no, he doesn't. But, you know, I'm not happy. We can't communicate. You know, I used to say, you know, we're not on the same page. We're not even the same book, you know, because like we're two totally different people. And I was continuing to grow and he was not at all, right? So, you know, and then after that, he, you know, he got married again. He was happy for a little while, but then that didn't work. And now he's with somebody else and he seems really, really happy. And of course, I, you know, found, you know, my soulmate, the love of my life, and we got married and we were extremely happy and all that stuff. So, you know, the fear is always there of, oh my goodness, what if I never find anybody else again? And I remember my dad asked me that. I was like, well, what are you going to do now? I was like, well, I'd rather be single than be in this marriage where I just, you know, I can't do it anymore, where I'm killing myself every single day, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm not honoring my truth kind of thing. And so at that time, I was like, I don't know, but I know I can't be in this relationship where I'm not being honored, I'm not being respected, I'm not being listened to, I'm like all that kind of stuff, right? And at the same time, you know, like I'm not able to speak freely. That's what I felt, right? So change is hard, change is scary, but you know, it requires a lot of soul searching for sure, right?
Yeah, and you have to be ready. I think you have to be ready for it, don't you? And if you're not ready, Cindy, then you've got more to learn. You've got more growing to do. That's the way I always look at it. You know, if you keep going back, it's because you're not ready, or you've still need to heal and stuff with that relationship. So, and that's all that it is. You'll know when it's right. Something would just click inside you. I'm sure it did for you. It did for me as well. When I left my marriage and my children were quite young at the time, something just clicks and you're like, no, this is it now. Can't go back anymore. Can't do this anymore. And I can tell you, I've never ever looked back. I don't know if you feel the same.
Same. I know. I never look back. And then even my, like, we've been divorced for a long time now, but even my kids, you know, they're like,
Yeah.
they find it strange now to even think of me and their dad even being in the same room for a social occasion. They just think it's so weird, you know. It's like, yeah, I have nothing against him. He's the father of my children, you know. He'll always be in my life, but you know, at a distance. At a distance.
If you'd have left before you were ready, then you might have ended up going back. That's why I think you have to get to that stage where you know in your heart and soul that it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And so Seema is in India, so she can't come on video or audio because it's really late there. But there's no question here, Seema. She says, can I request a generic read? Well, that's a no. Like, what's your question? I don't think, so ask the question in the chat and we can have Corrinne answer it, okay? And then Susanna, she is on video, but she says she has trouble speaking, so she's put a question in the chat. It's not too long, so I can read it. And she said, I had a catalyst who led me to wake up, and then I was activated by my twin flame. We're in separation for over a year because there's a third party, but the catalyst never really stepped out. Why is that? I keep doing my part in healing and trying to give him his space and not interfere, but what more can I do?
So again, remember what I said, that the message with the twin flame is never about what they're doing, it's about what you are. So once you stop focusing on your twin flame and focusing on you, that's usually when it comes back around, because it's all about you. The whole message is all about you, and what do you need to feel enough? What do you need to feel better within yourself, to be a better person? How can you enrich your life on your own without waiting for them?
Yeah, if that makes sense, Susanna.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome, thank you. So keep working on yourself, Susanna, right? And then, yeah, because it's all about you. And like for every relationship, and everything in our lives, it's always about us. It is all about us. It's like, you know, loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, knowing that we are worthy, etc. And then I'll just allow whatever to unfold, but work on you and loving you and accepting you and honoring you, etc. Right?
Exactly. It's not always what we want to hear. Sometimes we want to hear, no, we don't want to do all of that. We want them to make us feel better, or someone else to make us feel better. But it's never, we don't always get what we want. We get what we need, don't we? That's the thing in life.
And only we complete ourselves. I still strongly believe that. So, you know, only we can truly complete ourselves. Only we can truly make ourselves happy. And, you know, being in company with somebody else is sharing that happiness, sharing that joy, sharing experiences, but it still comes from within us.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, Susanna. Hopefully that helps. Okay. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Teresa has her hand raised. Teresa, you want to unmute?
Hi, thank you.
Hi. What's your question, Teresa?
Yeah, finding a partner has always been very challenging. I even did energy healing last year in order to attract a partner, but nothing happened. And I'm wondering, maybe it won't happen for me in this lifetime. Maybe there are other things I need to focus on, or I don't know, maybe I just need to wait.
Well, definitely focus on you, right?
Yeah.
It's not about attracting somebody, a relationship. It's about you. I'm going to let you step in, Corrinne, in a second, but it's about you living your life, you doing your inner work, you loving yourself, you doing whatever. And then when you're energetically ready or whatever, you know, somebody will come in. But I don't know. What do you think, Corrinne?
Yeah, I think it's that saying, isn't it, that you know, when you go looking for it, you can't find it. And if you go looking for it, you'll probably end up finding a karmic relationship or a toxic relationship or that kind of thing. But the right one will find you when you least expect it. That, you know, that synchronicity. And again, it's one of those things, we don't want to hear that. We want to hear that we need to do something, but that's just the way that it is, you know. It will find you when it's right. I think too much going looking for it, you'll end up in probably a karmic or a toxic relationship with more lessons and or something like that. So yeah, that's my only advice, is just work on you and be happy within yourself, which is always the deeper meaning of relationships.
Yeah,
and you know, it's about continuing to live your life with, you know, however you choose, and the other person is not going to come in and fill the void or fill the gap or anything like that, because if there's a gap or a void within you, that's for you to fill, not for somebody else to fill. And then basically when you do meet somebody else, I mean, like when I met my current husband, it was like out of the blue, totally unexpected, you know, like, I don't know how it, I mean, like, I always say it was definitely guided, divinely inspired and everything for sure, because it was like, I could not have done like all that happened to for us to meet. It's like, that was just like, could not have thought of that. I could not have made that up, kind of thing, you know? So, you know, sometimes things are meant to happen, but it's also about when you are ready within, you know? So if you're constantly looking, that means you're coming from a place of lack and that you're missing something and you want to fill something. That's not, you have to be full within yourself and your life, but be open to like new experiences, new joy, new fun, etc. But you know, that person can't be filling a void or whatever kind of thing. Like that's what I think is not going to be enough, right? So that's when you're gonna, you know, like Corrinne says, you know, call in like a karmic or toxic relationship because you're not fully complete within yourself.
Mm, mm,
Does that make sense?
yes, that sounds like the answer I was needing. Thank you.
Awesome. Good. Thank you, Teresa. And you know, we all do a lot of work, right? Inner work, etc. I know that there are, you know, activations to call in your soulmate, blah blah blah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I know there's also, you know, kinds of energy work like that around. But if you're not happy within, what are you going to be calling in, right? So, right, so you have to be happy within yourself, accepting within yourself, loving within yourself before you can actually attract somebody healthy, right? Like a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just, you know, doing the energy work. It's also like, how are you expressing that in your life? Like if I'm sitting at home just doing energy work to call in my next soulmate or something, well, you know, like how am I, like, where am I gonna meet this person and where am I having fun and what am I doing with my life if I'm just doing that, right? Then I'm totally isolating. I don't know. It's complicated, right? But it is, I really think it is about just, you live your life, do what is fun for you, do what's joyful for you. If things are coming up, triggering you, heal that at that time, and then see what happens. Right?
Yeah, exactly. And don't think, oh, it's not going to happen, because
Yeah.
again, you're putting that out there. Oh, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So just put out there, it is going to happen when it's right.
Yeah, when it's right, when, you know, yeah. It's so funny. I remember you know, it's like I'm never looking for a relationship or anything, and all my relationships have just happened. But I remember one of my cousins in India saying, "Oh my God, she's had like 3 marriages, and here I can't even get married once." I'm like, well, it's not like it's I wasn't looking for a relationship. I wasn't looking for, you know, to meet somebody. It just it happened, you know. But I'm always open to new adventures, new experiences, you know, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, I'm not looking for anybody. You know, it's like I'm living my life. I'm just enjoying my life, being me, right? And let's see what happens, right? So, you know, sometimes we do have to let go of that control a little bit, right? And just be in the flow.
Yeah. Because it can't come back to us, can it, if we're holding on too tightly to it? Also, I know when I did meet my current relationship, I definitely was not looking for a relationship. Like Graham said, I'm not looking for a relationship. I've not long been divorced. It's been about a year. I definitely don't want a relationship. So we always, you know, we just don't always get what we want, do we?
No, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I'm, you know, same. Like I'm definitely not looking for anything. I'm just, you know, living my life, seeing what's gonna happen next in my life. Because I'm open. I'm open to new experiences. I don't know what the future holds. I don't plan my life more than 3 to 4 months ahead of time. I just can't. I just no idea. So, you know, in that state of flow, right? as you are loving yourself, as you are accepting yourself, as you're doing the healing work, etc., and you're being open to whatever the universe brings forward, then it can truly be magical, and it can truly be just, the unexpected can happen. And just don't don't say no, don't close the door on anything. But be open to, hey, I wonder what's possible. I wonder if I'm going to meet my twin flame. I wonder if I'm going to meet my soulmate. I wonder what other new relationship I'm going to experience in my life. Oh my goodness, God forbid it's a karmic relationship or a toxic relationship. No, let's keep it positive, right? So, like, what thoughts are going in your head, right? Because that's what you're projecting as well.
Yeah.
So great questions, everyone. I'm just going to take a few minutes and talk about the packages, and then we'll come back and see if there's any more questions about relationships, twin flames, karmic, soulmate. There's like, all of these are relationships I find are here to help us grow, to help us really know more of who we are and love and accept ourselves at the same time as learn about ourselves, right? Let me just share my screen quickly, 1 second. I think you should be able to see my screen now. So Corrinne has 3 packages that she is offering. So package A is $44, package B is $111, and package C is $211. So Corrinne, do you want to just quickly share a little bit about these packages?
So yeah, so the group healing call will be similar to what we're doing. We just be sort of going more into some healing work basically around all of the relationship situations. So it is a group call. And then in package B, you will also get the group call. Oh yeah, sorry. There's some inner child healing meditation that you'll get with that as well, which is pre-recorded, which you can listen to again and again, and that will help you do that inner work. Yeah, there's kind of things that you can repeat within that meditation. So yeah, so everything in package A, you'll get in package B, plus a personal one-to-one session with me.
And this can be for anything?
Yeah, so whatever, so you need to like just coaching and talking. We can do some healing work around what they need to heal within themselves. Yeah, whatever's going on for them basically, and they want my help with. They want help to heal. So yeah.
Awesome. And that includes this channeled meditation. So what does that mean? Does that mean like during the one-on-one session there's a meditation that's gonna happen, that's gonna be channeled?
Yeah, so it's a part of it within the session. I will channel a meditation which is bespoke for what's going on for their specific needs at the time, and that's recorded so they can listen to that. So it's like the programming of our subconscious mind. The more we listen to a meditation to help the unprogramming, the healing, it will, so the more time we can listen to it, the better. So it will be your own personalized that you can listen to every night, and
Awesome.
to help with the
Okay,
healing.
so that's package B, and then package C is again everything in package A, plus instead of 1 personal session with Corrinne, you get 3, right?
Yeah, and that can be over whatever. There's no time limit on it. Whenever feel ready for the next one.
Okay, awesome. So there's some wonderful testimonials for you all to check out on the page, plus a more bio, of course, as well. So again, these 3 packages, package A is the group healing call plus the inner child healing MP3. So that's $44. Package B is everything in package A plus a 60-minute personal session and a channeled meditation. That's $111. There's a payment plan available. And package C, again, is everything in package A plus 3 personal sessions with Corrinne. And that is $211, and there's a payment plan available for that as well. So of course, with all these packages, if you're an Inner Circle member, please use your gift code as well. But I would, if you've never worked with Corrinne before, if you're new to her work, then, but if you want to, do the one-on-one session, then definitely get package B, right? But if you feel like you have a lot of healing work to do, then get package C, because at 211 for 3 one-on-one sessions, that is really handy. That'll come in really handy, and there's no time limit. So of course I would suggest, you know, maybe 1 a month, not 1 every week, right? So definitely take a look at those and see which one resonates with you. Okay. All right, so let me just go back to where we were. So Sarah says, when I let go, my husband showed up right after that. And that's a big key there. Letting go means letting go of that control and wanting to have things happen in a certain way, and it has to be done this way, right? So when you let go, then basically you're just allowing the universe to work with you, and you know, it opens up your energy field to receiving and, you know, new possibilities. So iPhone says, have worked with Corrinne and it's been transformative. Oh, nice. Thank you. Good. All right. Anybody have any other questions for Corrinne about karmic relationships, soulmate relationships, twin flame relationships? And karmic relationships does not mean necessarily a romantic relationship. A karmic relationship could be any relationship.
Yeah.
Right, Corrinne?
Yeah,
And same
exactly.
thing with same thing with the soulmate one, could be any type of relationship.
Yeah.
Let me just hold on 1 second. Let me just go back to my screen where I was. So you know, one of the things that I really like to look at is, or differentiate between the soulmate and the karmic relationship, again, is the fact that in a soulmate relationship, you're going to be have more ease and flow, and you'll be happier more, right? Most of the time. But in a karmic relationship, it's more about you having to live through your lessons, right? It's mostly about those hard lessons, like speaking up or being empowered, or whatever it happens to be that we are learning to do for ourselves in this lifetime that we, you know, obviously didn't do before, right?
Yeah, exactly. They were all relationships about you being your best self, but yeah, the soulmate relationships, you're more on the same level, where the karmic ones are more turbulent. But so is a twin flame. Like the twin flame is not an easy relationship. It's even harder than some of the karmic ones. I think it's really, really triggering. So it's a very difficult relationship to go through, but it's a catalyst to help you to heal, because it brings up so much.
Yeah, so it's a catalyst to help you to heal, but can it be a catalyst to your like awakening as well, I guess? Awakening to who you are?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
And you know, that alone can be very difficult. Awakenings are not easy. I don't know if that's what people think, but awakenings are extremely difficult, because it's kind of like your whole foundation crumbles, and there's a new way of thinking, new way of being. You see life in a different way, new perceptive, like everything is different, right? So it's not always easy, but transformational for sure, right? But all of these relationships can be transformational if you're willing to do the work, do the healing work, right? Or you know, at the least, being aware of what your triggers are, etc. But and also, because you know, just because you are in a karmic relationship or a soulmate or a twin flame does not mean forever.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people go ahead.
So karmic relationships aren't always meant to last. In romantic relationships that are karmic, they're meant to teach you a lesson, and they're not meant to be forever. It's when people try and stay in them forever that they become difficult. But yeah.
But even soulmate relationships, I don't think they necessarily have to be forever either. I think I don't know. You know, that's a good question, right? So I think it depends.
Depends on the people are ready. If they're both ready, to be on their own or to be in a relationship, then yeah, maybe that soulmate relationship could be forever, but otherwise it can just be like part of the journey, can't it? Part of the journey, then you go on your separate ways.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, and that's the thing, like most people think of soulmates through, you know, they see those through the rose-colored glasses, right? Everything is perfect and everything is great and everything, you know, like, I don't know. But it's not necessarily forever. Again, it's always about you and where you are in your journey, not just the romantic journey, not the soulmate journey, but just your journey, where you are in your journey. And you know, sometimes it requires you to, you know, change, grow, evolve, etc. And that may mean a dissolution of a soulmate relationship because that has fulfilled its purpose for this time period. Does that make sense, right?
Yeah. And if you're growing in a different direction and they're not, then you're not you know, you go in different directions. That's it.
Yeah. So there's nothing bad about a soulmate relationship ending or even a twin flame relationship ending, right? Or anything like that. There's no bad here at all. Even if it's a karmic relationship that's ending, it's okay. It's change, right? And change is okay.
Yeah, we don't like change though. As human beings, we resist change quite a lot, isn't it? It's the holding on that does the damage sometimes. It's the letting go that's
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, and I think that you know, from the 50s and 60s or something, where you know, it was like the perfect nuclear family, you know, and they live forever and they're all happy and blah blah blah. That doesn't exist. I just tell you, right? So those ideas of what a family is supposed to be or what love is supposed to be, you know, those belief systems we have to question and see what's right for us, right? Yeah. What Sarah says, when it ends, you have learned what you needed to learn. Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully you won't have to learn another lesson, but you never know. It's like we're always learning, right?
Yeah, always learning, healing and growing. But that's really what we're here for, and to have fun and enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So any last words of wisdom for us about this whole twin flame journey or soulmate journey or just these relationships that we're experiencing?
I did write a poem which I can read out if you want me to, which is taking it from the masculine and the feminine perspective of the twin flame journey.
Sure, yeah, please.
Yeah, I have to read it. Okay. So the masculine twin flame fears vulnerability, where the feminine fears being alone. His wound is so deeply rooted in his past of loss and rejection. Her wound is so deeply woven through her history of not feeling valued or enough. With her, he feels wide open, he feels exposed. With him, she feels a connection and a knowing she's never felt before. She is the only one that truly sees him, the only one that recognizes his soul. He is the only one to reignite her spark, to open her passion and creativity inside. Only she has the power to open his heart, but that terrifies him. Because of his fears of vulnerability, he resists letting her in, unable to control the love he feels. He runs, he hides, he pushes her away. He denies his true feelings. Only he has the capacity to reawaken her to her true power. But because of her fear of losing him and never feeling the same way about anybody else, she clings to him. She tries harder to please him. She chases, she compromises, and she becomes needy. She accepts less than what she knows she deserves. She denies what she knows is right. She self-abandons her own feelings to put his first. But she must wake up to her own power. She must value herself enough to walk away even if she loves him with all of her heart. Because she knows her true worth, she finally sees her own value. The separation is an important part of the twin flame journey. Through the separation, it gives both the masculine and the feminine counterparts crucial time to grow and heal. The whole meaning of the twin flame journey, the reason your soul called it in, is to learn unconditional love, to align any triggers or self-abandoning tendencies with unconditional love. to learn that you are whole and complete on your own. Your twin flame does not complete you. You are already complete. When both twins are willing to do the inner work to grow and to heal and align with unconditional love and completeness within, only then will the twins reunite in unity to the most amazing love. The divine masculine knows once he surrenders to this love, he surrenders to himself. He gives up his own inner battle. He surrenders the truth that he can no longer hide from. He is vulnerable and exposed, and even though this terrifies him, he is ready to face it. Because he knows the love his divine feminine gives, he will never find again. He knows he can never replace her or give his heart to another. And an emptiness that she can only feel. The pain is so deep that he has to make that choice, either face himself head on or risk losing her forever.
Wow,
That's kind of
powerful.
that's kind of the all relationships really is about that kind of that push and pull, isn't it? And
Yeah, absolutely. But we do have to be true to ourselves, right? Absolutely. We
Yeah, that's
we have to love ourselves, accept ourselves, be true to ourselves, and at the same time be honest with ourselves, right? About what we are experiencing, what we're going through, what we're feeling, etc., and be willing to express that without fear, right?
100%. That's the nail on the head with all of it.
And then, of course, surrender to us, ourselves, surrender to the divine, which is, of course, again, ourselves. Yeah, that's powerful. Linda, I'm sure you must, if you're still here, I'm sure you must have liked that poem as well, because it's, she's a poet as well. But yeah, beautifully said. What a difficult path we take on as humans. Oh my goodness, yes, we do. But if you look past the difficult parts, there's beauty as well, right? There's beauty, there's yeah, it's interesting that we choose these difficult paths, but we choose them so that we will grow and evolve and expand in our consciousness, so that we can remember who we are, right? And express that. So yeah, it's beautiful. Thank you. Good. So so everyone go back, listen to and watch this show again, because again, the twin flame journey, the soulmate journey, the karmic relationships, all of that, look at them again, listen again, watch again, just so that you can understand that it's not always about what you see in TV or movies. Okay, it's much more than that, and it's deeper, and it truly comes down to, of course, the lessons, yes, but loving ourselves, accepting ourselves, and being whole and complete within ourselves, and living our best life. Okay, so definitely go back and watch and listen. And of course, if you can, please do work with Corrinne as well. She's a powerful healer, transformational healer as well. So if you are requiring healing, change, transformation in any area of your life, please do work with her, okay? So I will send the recordings out in a little while, so please do go back and watch and listen, all right? Thank you so much. Thank you, Corrinne. Thank you, everybody, for all your questions, comments, and feedback. Thank you. It's like, I always learn so much and get so much more clarity about relationships, my own relationships and everything, and it's like, yeah, it's all good. So thank you.
That's okay, thank you. Yeah, you know lots about it as well, but it's always a reflection at the inner, isn't it? Relationships, that's the thing. It's always a reflection of us.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, everyone. So until next time, may you continue to be blessed with an abundance of joy, peace, love, happiness, prosperity, and radiant health. Sending you all so much love and blessings always. Bye for now. Bye-bye. All right, let me